This one sales page is making Brezscale over $1 million per month. So in this video, I'm going to break it down line by line to show you guys the exact persuasion frameworks, tactics, and secrets that his S-tier copywriters are using to make millions per month. We're going to start by dissecting his sales page, and then we'll hit his 10-minute long story selling VSL, and then we'll cover some bonus stuff like the application, the confirmation page, and even the FAQs so you can see exactly how these S-tier copywriters write for their clients like Brez. This is going to be juicy, so let's jump right into it. All right, welcome to Brez's $1 million funnel. I'm about to show you guys how insane this guy's copywriters are and how you can only do $1 million a month online if you have phenomenal copywriting. So let's jump right into it. You're gonna be able to take a lot of this stuff for anything you do online. So let's start with the belief chain. It's actually simpler than you guys think. A lot of people overcomplicate great copy as far as the macro funnel level. Brez's funnel is very simple. It's just, you're broke and sad, I'm not. That's all that his videos do. It shows you how he's a relatable person, he's got tons of money, and you're broke because you're reminded of how broke you are watching his videos. Then he says, you can be rich like me if you learn this skill. So skill is kind of the hidden concept that we want to learn more about. It gives us a little bit of information, but not all of it, which leads to curiosity. It's like a good mystery show. And then you could be rich if you learned freelance brand scaling. So that is the skill that sounds shiny, new, exciting. And then you could learn freelance brand scaling by joining his program. So that's the entire funnel, but we'll break down how they do it at an insanely high level. So the first thing is the opt-in page. So whenever you click on this funnel, you're brought to this page right here, and it says, unlock the free training to reveal the one skill behind my success. Click on the video to watch. And because they have so much traffic, and most of their guys are probably younger, maybe unaware, you have to put in your information before you get to see the VSL. So it's a free training. I guess there is some kind of training in there maybe, but it's really just a sales letter in video form. And then the big idea of the email and text squeeze is basically you just fill in your information, and they do a good job by I'm guessing they're using Framer for this funnel design. It's very trustworthy because of how clean and responsive it is. Also the branding, if you look, is very Brez branded. It's got red, white, black. It's grungy texture. That's his entire brand. I mean, look, he's just like a kind of grungy dude, I guess, is what the young kids are doing these days. And yeah, it's trustworthy. Once you put in your information, which I did, and they won't stop spamming my phone, you hit the book a call page, and this is where things start to get juicy. So the big idea so far is this free training is going to make you money. It's going to show you this skill. When we hit the page, we continue that theme. It's on that same awareness level. Congrats, you have this free training. Learn how me and hundreds of other people are cashing out in Q4 using this one skill. So the secret is still the skill. What is this skill? And you have to click the video to find out. So here we go. We click the video, and that brings us to the VSL, which we will break down in a second. But for now, let's take a look at this page. So you'll see a pretty common theme here. It's simple, direct, and clear, which is honestly the best way to do that in 2025, 2026. Apply now, apply down below, click the video, click to play on the video. Like every CTA needs to be simple, direct, and clear. And then he has interviews. He has proof of these people who are just like you making tons of money online. You can watch those, apply now. Then he has video testimonials. Something that I feel like everyone should do if you have these is putting their best quotes down here, because most people won't watch the video. They just want to see the video as proof that they're real people saying these things. And then he has like a scroll of testimonials, which I think is a cool way to do it while keeping it simple, clean, but still bringing in more screenshots. And then their privacy policy stuff. Cool. Let's get into this VSL because this is where the money is. But pay attention to these headlines. The headline is nothing crazy. It's just embellishing on the big idea. So this free training was going to show you this one skill, and the one skill is the reason I got rich. Put in your information. Then learn this one skill to make tons of money. They put it in a cool phrase. They cashing out. It sounds like a teenage phrase, but it's all about the one skill. And now we're going to learn about this one skill. This is where we're going to get a little deep here, but I promise you guys, it's simpler than you think. The reason they make so much money is not because they have some crazy marketing plan. It's because they execute on the simple stuff very, very well. His copywriters are very well trained in how to do this stuff, and we're going to break it down everything. So before we dive in, you need to know a couple terms. So we're going to go over text versus subtext. Text is the actual words that you're seeing on the page. Subtext is what they want you to feel because of those words. Mechanism is basically a word bucket that holds emotions, creates curiosity, and it's the reason that his thing works, the reason why something works. And then the new opportunity is the big key mechanism that is the sole thing that will give you the result you want. I know it's a little bit complicated. It'll make sense in a second. But if you've not seen my free 10-hour course, we have an entire module in this course. It's module 5 on exactly what this stuff is. Go check it out if you're interested. But let's jump straight in. So once again, at this point, we're a young teenager. We see Brez driving Lambos. We want to know what he does. He never talks about it really in his videos, so there's a lot of curiosity there. We know it's a skill, so it seems legit. But I want to know why. What's going on? So let's dive in. I'm Brez, and inside this video, I'm going to show you the exact path I took to go from being broke and fat Fortnite kid and working at a golf course to wiring 47 grand to my business partner from my phone while sitting poolside at a $4 million house in South Florida. That's the text. The subtext is basically saying, I'm going to show you this thing, right? The skill. This is a mechanism. So he's creating curiosity by telling us there's a path, but we don't know any more about it. That took me from being exactly in your scenario, but he does it by saying their language. Broke, lost, fat Fortnite kid. Right? If we were selling to grandmothers, we wouldn't use that same language, but we do the same subtext, the same principle of saying before and after. And also it's very relatable. And it's visual. Instead of just saying broke to rich, he says broke fat Fortnite kid to wiring 47 grand to my business partner from my phone sitting poolside at a $4 million house. It's visual. You can see it. He talks about he's getting old, adds a little bit of FOMO. This system has nothing to do with dropshipping, trading, or any of these other business models that you've probably seen online. So as soon as he says this first sentence, they're now thinking, oh, well, it's like everything else I've ever heard, which is why he then goes and says, no, it's not. Then it has nothing to do with working a soul-crushing 9 to 5. This one simple skill is what every successful business owner desperately needs, and business owners have no clue how to do it themselves. I call it freelance brand scaling. And so this kind of shows how good his copywriters are because they chose to kind of break the traditional mold and expose the skill almost immediately. And I believe that's because they understand most of their audience is coming from an organic traffic and they've heard him talk about freelance brand scaling. And it honestly doesn't give any more information. Like it still leaves you with more questions than answers. And so they can still release it without it giving away too much curiosity. And then what he does right here is he basically says, once you learn this thing that I'm about to show you, the suckiness in your life will go away. And so all these things is he's talking about feelings. You'll never feel sick to your stomach. You'll never have to pretend you're too busy because you can't afford it. You'll wake up to notifications of client payments. You'll have confidence that comes from knowing you can make money anywhere in the world, and you'll finally experience what it's like to have your family asking for business advice. He's creating these visual, emotional feelings that you're either in this pain, and you want this dream outcome. So both of them make you feel pain. Just one's negative, one is positive. They both create pain. Then he says, I know these are bold statements, but this exact system didn't just work for me. It worked for everyone else. Then he's just going over like other people who are making money. It's not just him. And it's just a simple call to action, basically saying, look, you need to watch the rest of this video. You will have freedom. All this is the exact same thing. All he's doing from here to here is building pain by showing these guys learned this thing and they made bank. And if you would stop being broke and you would learn this thing, you would make bank as well. And so if we look for my sales page template, here's what I'm looking for in a good lead. So let's see if he does it. Well, he hits pain directly. Absolutely. Uses their language. Totally. Boosts tons of curiosity. Yes. Establishes credibility immediately in the first line. And he opens a loop and bribe by saying basically like you need to learn freelance brand scaling. You don't really know what that is yet. So perfect. They nailed the hook and lead. Pretty cool. The only thing that I think I would add is like to really dig the hook deeper right at the end of the lead by basically saying like, in the next this many minutes, I'm about to reveal the exact skill and the system implementing it so that you can start making these things. Just like a quick little rehook. But honestly, dude, I mean, they're the ones making all the money, so they should be teaching me. All right, so after the hook and lead, we start the story selling. So what the story selling basically is, it is just a story from Brez's life of how he discovered this mechanism. So remember, back to our belief chain. It's all hinging around discovering freelance brand scaling. These guys are smart. They're not just going to say, join my program to get rich. They're going to say, you need to learn this thing to get rich. And then the best way to learn this thing is by joining my program. So it makes logical sense in your head. And yeah, it's just the best way to sell, honestly. And so they're going to show you the value of freelance brand scaling by telling you a story from Brez's life. So when I first created freelance brand scaling, I was kind of skeptical because it seemed too easy. Here again, they're like addressing their false beliefs. Also, they need to throw rocks at every other opportunity so that they need to burn the other ships. If you believe that, let's say if you think freelance brand, let's say you're weighing your options. You want to do freelance brand scaling or, I don't know, drop shipping, trading, whatever. If they make trading suck and drop shipping suck, then the only option you have is freelance brand scaling in your mind, which is why they're going to throw rocks at other business models. And notice how they continue the theme of having these mechanisms. One business model, mastering this one thing, and that one thing is going to be this. So we start the story, and Brez is saying how he tried different stuff and it failed. And then he discovered running ads for other people's brands. That is the definition of freelance brand scaling. He talks about how easy that is. That's pretty much it. Last month alone, I made 6 figures from this business model. Keep watching because I'm about to show you how 3 of my students collect these doing the exact same thing. All from running ads for other people's brands. Brez, there's got to be a catch. It's too simple. Guys, he's doing the same thing. I mean, it's very, very simple what he's doing here. So yeah, this entire thing is basically saying freelance brand scaling is a thing I discovered. It's very simple. You're just running ads for other people. So he explains it. Like, that's the mechanism. That's why it works. And then he just basically throws rocks at every other opportunity. So he burns those ships and he makes the ship of freelance brand scaling seem easy, safe, big. And they just do that by just yapping, honestly, just about friends making tons of money. He talks about how he failed with all these other things. Then he talks about when things were really bad was when his family was disappointed in him. He's building that emotion, and he's making it seem like he was in the exact situation that you were in, which creates that insane trust, and you want to just hand him your money. Okay, so that's kind of all the same thing. We're just talking about freelance brand scaling is amazing. It's whatever. My life sucked until this moment. This is the big discovery. For the first time in my life, I had a 200 IQ moment. When I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself about my clothing brand, I realized something. The one part of the business that actually worked, the part that brought in customers and sales, was the ads I was running. Okay, so ads really is like the mechanism. Freelance brand scaling, in case you haven't figured it out yet, is just a marketing agency. It's just SMMA. It's just whatever, it's just an agency. But they're very good marketers, and they came up with a brand new name for it that sounds new, it sounds fresh to this younger generation. So they rebranded it, which is just genius. But here they talk about why it works, ads. Notice how they never go into the technicals. It's always just about how easy this junk is. So the ads I created, thousands of dollars, I never thought about it as a standalone skill, and then it clicked. What if I could run ads for other people's brands? What if I didn't need to deal with inventory, customer service, or any of that crap? What if I focused on the one thing I was good at? And that's when I discovered freelance brand scaling, and everything changed. This is the big moment. If you've not read Russell Brunson, or what is it? I got it back there. Russell Brunson's 3 books, right? .com Secrets, Expert Secrets. This is directly from Expert Secrets. I made a story selling template, which you guys can have in this Miro. This is what I use to write my VSLs whenever I do story selling. I'm actually writing one for a client like today as we speak. And no matter where, if you're selling organically, where someone has a personal brand, I feel like you have to do a story selling moment in your VSL. If it's B2C, I just feel like you have to. It's just perfect. So anyways, life sucks, right? Freelance brand scaling is awesome. My life sucked before I found it. Then I discovered it. And here's how I discovered it. Here's why it works. Then the next section, he's basically just talking about why freelance brand scaling is so amazing. Once again, he doesn't go into any technicals. He just says, if you run ads for people, your life will be dope. You'll make tons of money. It's easy. So here he's talking about all the benefits of running ads for people. So we talked about freelance brand scaling, is how to discover it. Now here is why it's amazing. In between here, he also will drop in tons of testimonials, like proving that these people are just like you, they can do it. Here, all he's doing is making freelance brand scaling sound new. He's making it sound easy. He's making it sound safe, and making it sound like a big opportunity. Straight from Kyle Milligan, Nesby. Simple. Okay, they all made one decision. They decided to master one thing, running profitable ads. So this is freelance brand scaling. This is the mechanism. Every business needs profitable ads. Once again, this is making it sound big. Here's where it gets interesting. This is actually really good. Like I don't see many copywriters doing this in this like new class of online money people. Whoever's writing this crap for Brez, freaking thumbs up, bro. They have a sub mechanism, which is cool. This is something that I've always noticed, like Iman and I do in my videos as well. But what you do is a sub-mechanism is a mechanism inside of your new opportunity which directly attacks a false belief they have about that opportunity. Like I said, it sounds a little complicated. It's covered in my free course if you want to go dive deep. But basically, as soon as you hear running profitable ads, one of the concerns of the agency model is I need a lot of clients. Like that's the biggest concern is in order to scale, you need to take on more and more and more clients. They immediately address this by talking about revenue sharing, like this new concept. So instead of charging a flat retainer, you take a percentage, and that allows you to bring in way more money. Boom, here's where they address the false belief. You don't need a ton of clients to make serious money. Dope. And it's kind of weird that they like toss this in at the end of the story selling. Usually you'd see this in like, I don't know. It's fire though. It's really good. So this is the end of the story selling. So what I look for in a good story selling sequence is really this. My life sucked the same as how yours sucks right now. So the closer your backstory is to your customer's backstory, the more they're going to relate with you, the more they're going to trust you. I tried crap that didn't work for you as well. So it's like if he tried the same things that we tried, now we really trust him and we think that his new thing might work. I discovered new thing and that changed everything. This new thing gave me the outcome that I've always dreamed of, which matches your dream outcome close as possible. And then it gave others just like you the same dream outcome that you want. Also, it's new, easy, safe. So this entire section is just this, guys. Like there's a lot of words, there's a lot of like just kind of yap about stuff, but that's all he's doing. And if you do that, you're going to be fine. But real quick, I want you to notice how they use the exact same language of their target customer. If you were to rip this kind of copy to 60-year-olds, it's not going to work. But for 16 to 21-year-olds, this is perfect. They're using the same language. It's simple. It's not too technical. It's just really good copy. Okay, so moving on to the end of story selling. At this point, we are sold on freelance brand scaling. We're still a little bit skeptical of whether we can make it work or not, but as far as the opportunity, it sounds dope. It worked for Papa Brez. Now we got to try it. This is how we're going to get out of the trenches, man. We're going to make it out the cut with freelance brand scaling. Now is when we start the solution. So now that they're sold on the opportunity, how do we sell them on our program, our solution to the problem of not knowing freelance brand scaling? Because the problem when they started the funnel was I'm broke. But now they've become aware thanks to the VSL, and now their problem is I need to know freelance brand scaling. That's what's in their head. So that's when we start the solution, which is how do you learn freelance brand scaling? So I can hear some of you thinking, Brez, I don't know anything about running profitable ads. I've never done it before. What if I'm not good at it? Listen, every expert was once a beginner. Here we're just using like some logic. I started out in the same spot as you are right now. Here we have some more testimonies of people just like these guys, just like you. But they were coachable, followed instructions, and took action. So here we're like painting this identity. These guys won because they had a coach, they did what the coach said, and they took action. Remember that, because that's what those identities they're going to play on later in the CTA. Most importantly, they invested in learning from someone who had already figured it out. This is the mechanism for the solution, right? The coaching program. And so these guys who you see winning with freelance brand scaling, they're doing that because they invested in a coach. So once again, now we're talking about you need a coach. Now, then we're going to show them why they are the best coaches for you, according to the VSL. Once again, we're burning the other options, the other boats. So you can try this on your own. You could watch YouTube videos. That's exactly what I did, and it almost broke me. I wasted a year and thousands of dollars trying to figure out what was too complicated. So here, you decide you want to learn freelance brand scaling. Now you have two options. You can learn it on your own, or you can learn it with Brez and the gang. They're burning the other option. They're saying, hey, look, this stuff doesn't work. On your own doesn't work. YouTube doesn't work. Which, I mean, they post YouTube videos teaching freelance brand scaling, so like kind of a contradiction. But for sales purposes, this stuff doesn't work. It wasn't until I found someone who had already cracked the code and showed me what to do step by step. That's when everything worked. Here is when Brez starts first showing his solution to this problem. I spent the last 2 years perfecting a system that takes beginners and turns them into profitable freelance brand scalers in record time. This isn't some sort of theory. It's a proven playbook. Notice all the mechanisms here: system, playbook. I call it the elite round table. This is when we figure out the solution, the program he's selling. It's designed for people just like you who want to escape the trap, yada, yada. Now we start the offer. So now we're aware that Brez has a solution to our problem, thankfully. Let's get into what does that solution look like. He immediately addresses an objection by saying this isn't a course you buy and hope for the best. It's a complete system with live coaching, community support, and accountability. You get 5 group coaching calls a week where you can ask me and my team anything about finding clients, running ads. I'm literally there with all my coaches. Second, you get a comprehensive library of step-by-step training that covers everything you need to dominate as a freelance brand scaler. I forgot to cover the solution goals. It's very simple. You show them how the only way to learn this new opportunity is through your thing. And then show how it works for anybody. Push the big emotions. Simple. Now the offer process. I actually want to show you the goals of this section before we go through it so you'll have an understanding. The goal of an offer is to destroy every objection, mainly the biggest 3 to 5. Like if you're selling with copy, meaning you're selling to a large audience, you don't have the luxury of breaking every single objection one-to-one. So what you do is you pick the 3 to 5 biggest objections across the whole market, and you break those really well so that the most amount of people have their objections broken and they end up taking action. And so in their scenario, they've decided that the biggest 3 to 5 objections to his crowd is mindset. Like, what if I'm not good enough to do it? Client acquisition, so getting clients sounds hard. Service delivery, meaning I don't know how to deliver for them. And then scaling, but how do I make big money like Papi Brez, right? So that's what they're targeting. And they do that by creating a great offer and a process. So phase 1, mindset. And they just have benefit bullets where inside of mindset, they break down all of the false beliefs you might have around mindset. So reprogram your brain, unshakable confidence, mindset shift, handle objections, start like a champion, why most people fail. Phase 2, okay, let's say you got a great mindset. Now, I don't know how to get clients, Brez. Well, don't worry. We'll give you everything you need on client acquisition. Templates, where to find clients, how to position yourself, the risk reversal pitch, the cold calling scripts. Notice how these things are all tangible things, right? We have scripts, we have a pitch, we have client, where to find clients, outreach templates. They all sound easy, consumable, not a lot of work. And phase 3 is where we address the service delivery objection. They got a lot here because I feel like this is what creates the logical, okay, wow, this might actually work for me. And how to write copy, insider ad secrets, how to optimize and scale, copy and paste ad templates. And what I got to commend these guys for doing is they wrote some amazing copy that doesn't appear to be that over-the-top marketing trash from the 2000s and 2010s. It is just low-key, really, really persuasive copy. And then finally, scaling to 6 figures, which is the juicy part. Here's how you scale and go crazy. 27 support from my team. Text us anytime. We'll get back to you ASAP. And then here's a little sneaky part, which I got to commend them for. You get access to a community of ambitious people. And he kind of like appeals to their loneliness. So if you know anything about the like the pyramid of needs or whatever, one of the biggest ones is community, belonging. And they're going to hit you in the gut right here by saying like you're going to have people who don't judge you, people to celebrate your wins and help you. This isn't about a skill, it's about a brotherhood of people. So we're appealing to that loneliness section. Now, that is the offering process. And honestly, they crushed it. I can't lie. Not many people do it as good as this. So once again, I'm just freaking glazing. But hopefully you guys are seeing how, like, why copy is so important and why it's literally the skill that takes you from $50K a month to $1 million a month and higher is copy and marketing. So the CTA, we've done all this work. Now is where we can't, now is where we got to cash in on that. We have to do this well. So let's see how they do it. Some of you are thinking, that's great, but what if it doesn't work? What if I'm different? What if I don't have what it takes? The truth is, the only thing that separates, here we have, once again, another mechanism. There's a thing that separates the rich from the broke. And that thing is action. Action, action, action. Remember what we talked about earlier. They're painting the scenario that the most successful people were the people who got a coach and took action. And that's what they're going to tell you to do right here. Every single person who succeeded was scared at first, including myself. So here they're basically, I forget exactly what this is called, but it's really sneaky. They're saying that your fear is actually proof that you're going to win with this. Nasty technique. They had doubts, they had excuses, they had fears, but they did it anyway. They bet on themselves when no one else would, and it changed their life forever. The question is, are you willing to bet on yourself? So we're turning this from being like, will you buy my program, to will you bet on yourself? That's a much deeper question. Are you willing to invest in your future? Because here's the reality. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So using some logical stuff here. You watch the video, get motivated. 6 months now, you'll be in the exact same place. Broke, frustrated, watching other people. So basically you're just building that like FOMO and emotions. So he's painting two scenarios, the rock bottom versus top of the mountain. So you could stay broke, do nothing, fail forever, or take action and join these guys who are getting clients and making money and getting the freedom. The choice is yours. This is, it's subtle, but it's very simple. Basically, like by giving them the choice, they feel like they're in control. But I'll tell you this, every day you wait is another day that you're not moving towards real freedom. They just took action. These people took action. Once again, action is what separates the losers from the winners because they want you to take action. Now, because this program is so intensive, we personally coach everyone. We can only work with a limited number of people. So here we have the first amount of scarcity coming in, saying like there is a limited spots. I'll be honest, I don't know if that's true or not. A lot of times it is not, but I'm not in his program, so I do not know. But a lot of times that's not true. Just throwing that out there. Don't know if it is or not for this. I'm not trying to create some massive course where nobody takes action. I'm trying to create a tight-knit group of go-getters who actually get results. That means not everyone who applies will be accepted. This is true, and I'll kind of show you how they bend that a little bit. We reject the majority of applications. This is also true, not because we aren't capable, because they don't show that they're serious. Now, their qualification for if they're serious or not is basically, do they have money or not? It seems based on their qualification questions, which I'll show you, that they don't really gauge whether or not you're serious. All they gauge is like, do you have money to give us? That's the only thing they look for. Half A applications get rejected. People who can't follow simple instructions get rejected. People who make excuses get rejected. Once again, they're just painting this scenario of like, if you don't think that you're these people, then what do you want to do? You want to apply. Click the button below this video to apply. Once again, very simple, direct. The application takes a few minutes to fill out. So now they're making the action sound easy. Here we're building some more emotions. Show us you're serious. Show us you're the type of person who deserves to be in a room full of winners, appealing to emotions, identity, status. And if I review your application and think you're a good fit, someone from my team will reach out to you personally through text. They'll have a conversation about your goals and whether this program is a good fit for you. Here, this is very smart. They're showing what's going to happen next. And so if you just say, do this thing, but you don't explain what's going to happen, people are going to be nervous, scared, and they're not going to want to actually click on the thing or do the thing. But if you tell them what's going to happen as soon as it does, they feel comfortable, they feel safe. Building more emotions. This right here is some serious like cult leader manipulation tech. So if you guys ever use this, please, please, please be careful. What they're doing here is they're like separating you from your family and friends. And so think about the people who might tell them not to join Brez's program. It might be their friends who are also broke. It might be their family who want them to like go to college, and it might even be themselves. And Brez is basically saying like, those people will not understand you. We understand you. And like I said, that's very powerful. So if you use that, just be careful. But that's like a classic cult leader thing, is the cult leaders they start telling you why your family is like out to get you so that you love the cult leader more. Not saying Brez is that, but this technique comes from that. So be careful. Remember, the rich get richer because they take opportunities and take risks. The poor stay poor because they make excuses. Which one do you want to be? Once again, broke people don't click the CTA. Rich people always click the CTA. That's all they're doing here. So click the button, fill out the application, see you on the inside. If you guys want to check out this written thing without all the markups, there's a link there. Okay, so we got to the VSL, and what they're doing in urgency scarcity is we want to do a couple things. First, we want to give them an emotional and a logical reason why they have to act now. And they did that multiple times throughout. We also want to create a philosophical problem where if they don't act now, they're acting out of line with the person they want to be or they see themselves as. So if you see yourself as an action taker, someone who takes risk, who wants to be like these rich people, if you don't click the CTA, now you're acting out of line with your identity, which we hate to do as humans. So they're creating that philosophical like problem. Then they give a simple, clear, direct CTA, and they explain what's going to happen next that creates a safe feeling if you take the action. All right. Now, dope. That is the VSL. So let's see what happens next. So once you watch the VSL, you decide I'm going to apply. Here are their application questions. Basically, they're just asking, are you broke or not? That's it. So apply to work with us. A little bit of social proof there. What's a good email? What's your name and number? Are you 18 years or older? I think they legally have to ask this. We have different options based on how much help you're looking for. And they say like, basically broke, payment plan, ready to go right now. I'm looking for as much help as possible. Based on this, it will change like what questions you get next. Just a heads up, we're going to give you a quick 2-minute phone call. Yes, I will pick up. No, I'll be unresponsive. This is a phone setter. So they're going to try to like sell you on booking a call for the program. And they do this because they have so much volume. They can't just do a book a call funnel. If they did, it would be it'd be insane. And so they do this to qualify. The only qualifying they're looking for is, do you have money or not? That's it. They sell to anybody based on their qualification questions, it seems like. But never been on a call with them, so I don't know if they qualify more on the call, but it looks like it's just anyone who has bread. And this is proven because as soon as you select that you have money, it says, congrats, your application has been approved. You're going to receive a phone call from my team in the next 2 minutes. This is where Brez's team separates themselves from the current class of like info gurus. These guys' speed to lead is impressive. It's like Hormozy levels. They must have a big setting team that is really trained because these guys are a machine. Like they call you within 2 minutes. It is insane. This video just explains like what's going to happen. They're going to call you. You need to answer the call. All this good stuff. And then they go through some FAQ. So it's like, how quickly will I make my money back? How much money do I need to start? Do I actually do the business model myself? Meaning like Brez. And then how will I get people to work with me with zero experience? These are probably like the biggest questions that they get on calls probably. So they probably put those right here at the start. And then they have more testimonials in case you just need more, proof to get over the edge. And that is it. That is the Brez $1 million a month funnel. So then they will get the setter will set you onto a sales call where they will sell you his mentorship program. And that's it. That's how they do it. This is at a high level. And a couple of things I want to go over, like the keys to Brez's funnel. If I had to recap this entire breakdown, is number one, the strategy is simple. They don't have some kind of crazy over the top complicated thing. It's very simple. It's an opt-in page. It's a VSL book a call page, and they just have setters who make sure that you have money. Simple. But the details and the execution, it's done really well. And one of the big things that I see Brez do better than most people is he uses the same tone and language as his audience. Everything is really like TikTok, Fortnite era. And it just makes you want to trust him. It makes you want to do what he does. And I would say all of this stems off the back of a very good YouTube organic system. So because Brez is so laid back, he's so chill, he sounds like just like one of your friends from your soccer team, right? it makes you feel like, hey, if he did it, I can do it too. And that's what brings you to this page, and that's why you end up actually converting. So yeah, let me know if you guys want me to break down more people's stuff, if you found this useful or not. Hopefully it was useful. Shout out to Brez and his team for some insane copy. And if you want a link to this mural board, it is right here. If all this stuff was confusing, I highly recommend watching my free course. It'll be in the description. Hope you enjoyed. Love you guys. See you later.